clear is that the ANC president was never going to sit throughout the discussions of the ANC special NEC because he is the subject of discussion. Historically in the ANC, they always remove those whom are subject of discussions, and they essentially discuss those discussions in their absentia with the president. They have now broken for lunch. You can see some NEC members have gone out to have their lunch at this point in time.
Then I'll talk to them afterwards.
So they will be deliberating on this issue. Discussions have been ensuing, and historically, when you look at the ANC has never supported a motion in Parliament that it's never put on the table. So with the recommendation yesterday from the NWC that the party must reject this particular high panel report and that the president of the ANC must stay on as the president of the country, it's no surprise that the ANC at this point in time with close ranks. But let me bring in Mr. Phala Phala, the ANC spokesperson, just to speak on where the program is thus far. Mr. Mabe, we see your leaders, the ANC members, are currently out on lunch. What is the current brief? Where are you in terms of your program with this particular debate?
Well, in terms of our program is that, in the morning, and I gave this update earlier, that the president gave his political overview, had asked to be recused, consistent with what has happened in the organization. If and when a matter involves an individual cadre, we don't allow them to sit in those meetings. We always recuse them. We've done it in the past and we did it today. So there is nothing unusual in that regard. So in terms of where the program is at, cadres are engaging on the recommendations of the National Working Committee. We are hoping that at the end of this, we will be able to have formulated a decision of the African National Congress, which our Treasurer General, Comrade Paul Mashatile, will be able to communicate on all our behalf.
When are you most likely to conclude the business of the day with this matter, with deliberations? Just a time frame so that South Africans can know and anticipate when they can listen to the Acting Secretary General on the line of march.
Maybe the first thing to confirm to South Africans, the viewers, the good viewers of the SABC and everyone else taking interest on the matter, is that there is certainly no crisis in the African National Congress. We convened this meeting so that we can formulate or consolidate our own view going into tomorrow's debate, something that we would have done. We are hoping that before early evening we would have concluded, because some of the cadres sitting in this meeting have to go to Parliament because they are deployed there, either as speakers, as ordinary members of Parliament who form part of the ANC caucus. They've got to go there armed with a decision of the ANC, knowing exactly what needs to happen.
Mr. Mabe, your political opponents say that they've mobilized enough opposition parties and just need about 30 to 40 ANC members of Parliament to vote with their motion. Are you anticipating that some of your members and leaders within the National Assembly will openly raise their hands to endorse this particular report?
Well, Samkele, you are basically asking me in a very journalistic manner to communicate or predetermine what will be the decision of the National Executive Committee. Because the meeting is still ongoing, it would be unfair to predetermine what will be the conclusion of this meeting. Safe to say, let us allow the NEC to conclude. When it has concluded, it will communicate. Its decision will have a bearing on how it postures tomorrow, including how it is going to relate with opposition parties going out there. But you would recall, even in the past, the ANC has never put pressure on opposition parties on how they should do their work. We've never done that. We have never done that. So we don't think that there is an opposition party that should plan around the ANC's members. I don't know what the decision would be, but it's dangerous, it's criminal, it's unethical. You cannot plan your political strategy on another political party that does not sit in your own meetings. You don't do that. It's criminal. That is political thuggery. You can't do that. You can't plan based on what we will decide. No, you don't. We are a party on our own. You see, where we relate with the Youth League is an autonomous, and yet an integral part of the African National Congress. Other political parties are not they are independent of the ANC. So how they sit their meetings, how they organize committees, they know that. As part of infrastructure, we have got political infrastructure, we have got structures of the ANC. And those structures of the ANC include this. Samkele, in a week from now, the highest decision-making body of the ANC, which we confer to, sits. It sits. So whatever you do, you have to also be alive to the fact that the National Conference of the ANC is sitting in a week's time. What we cannot do is we cannot present a picture that projects or suggests that the ANC is disintegrating. There is a parliamentary process not led by the ANC. There was an issue of impeachment not brought up by the ANC, brought up by the other parties who contest power with the ANC. The ANC contested power. It was affirmed by the people to constitute government. The ANC is now the leader of government. Now, everything else we do, we've got to remember what is the place and position of the ANC in all of this.
Will not vote power.
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we contested power on our own. We did not ask for others to contest for power with the ANC. In politics, ability of political parties to work together, the meeting, to have discussion and ultimately communicate out to the public.
Thank you very much. That is Mr. Phala Phala, the ANC spokesperson.